What's good? What's good? Shout out to the Mailroom Nation and the Mailroom Goons. Shout out, shout out. We are back. We are back. What's going on, my guy?
Ah, what it do, Brody? What's going on with you?
Man, everything, man. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation. Shout out to the Mailroom Goons.
hmm
Man. We got a special guest in the house
Salutation.
today. Look who
Yeah,
we
the
got.
big boy. You know what it is. The wrecking ball. Vegas wrecking all. Demon. You know what it is. What's happening?
Hey,
Going
man,
on?
everything, man. How you feel today, my brother?
Well, you know I'm feeling, so that's got to be a blessing. Every day above grass, you got to get on your knees and say thank God, because ain't nothing for certain no more.
Right. Definitely. Nothing's for
Mhm.
certain. Nothing's guaranteed. You know what I mean?
Before we get into anything, let
Uh-huh.
me because when I was talking last time at the park, right, the wind was kind of loud and people couldn't hear me.
Uh-huh.
So when I was talking about hand guides, okay, now when I mentioned my father, right, it was a person that I didn't mean to. I'm getting old. Sorry, it might be first signs of dementia, but please forgive me. His name was Rock Sheba, Curtis Lockhart. Now I put him right with my daddy because I mean this dude here, he's one of the first. He from the hood, which is like I say, started by Michael Finley, who was the first
Uh-huh.
blood in Vegas, and it's the first blood gang in Vegas is called Hollywood, but they're not Pyrus. They're
Uh-huh.
Hollywood Bloods, H2D, a 004 hoods. Okay, they was started by Michael Finley, but he had a homeboy that was known for hands, and his name was Rock Sheba, Curtis Lockhart.
Rocky.
Rock
Curtis Rock.
Sheba was the hands of the North. I got to
Uh-huh.
give him what his due because he could. And a lot of people would say, "Well, what about George Gordon? He whooped Butterbean in the ring." When it comes
Big
to natural
Butterbean, the
hand talent,
boxer.
he whooped George Gordon, GQ. George Gordon, he whooped Butterbean in boxing.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of people say Big George Gordon, man, no, but I give it to Rock Sheba because natural talent, hand wise, that boy was whooping everything in the North and probably a lot on the West. And another name when it came to hand goddess was my OG homegirl, Tony Girl. She ran with my father. That was like the Crip Connie of Vegas. You feel me?
Okay.
And her mama,
Okay.
Nita Lucius, when my daddy left, a female became the face of Herbert Gerson because before the gunplay came in and we was doing the fisticuff things, it was a female orchestrating the fights. Her name was Nita Lucius. She was the one telling you, bet not run, you run, I'm gonna beat your ass. And when we used to go in other people's territories and fight them, she used to try to fight their mamas. Her name was Nita Lucius. She was the face of the G's before the gunplay
You,
came. So
you was
let me
rough
just
with it,
clear that
man.
up right there and give solid,
Man,
kudos,
I'm glad you
kudos.
cleared that up. In
Right,
Baku. In Baku.
Baku, from the Jabrari. You know
From
what
the
it is.
Jabrari. But
Yes,
shout
yes,
out to the
sir.
mail once again. Shout out to the Mailroom Goons, Mailroom
Shout out to
Nation.
y'all. Mm-hmm.
Click the notification bell, like, subscribe, and
Yeah.
share. Drop a comment down below. So when the dope
Right,
content
right.
hit, it's gonna feel like the first and the 15, and there you're gonna have it in Baku from the Jabari tribe.
All the
We
time,
got
man. You know what I
house
mean?
today.
Yes,
Shout out to
sir.
Johnny
You
Sullivan,
know.
King Mike Mars,
Mm-hmm.
RK Postmaster General. We got Marlena, how are you? And we got who else we got?
Salutations to all the mail room, man, and people
Man,
making it happen, man. Salutations to y'all, the ones that's keeping it
it
positive,
don't
man, that's
take
vibing
but
on high
2 seconds
vibrations.
to
Salute.
click that thumbs up when you come into the
Yeah,
room.
got to, man. Click that thumbs up, thumbs. Give it up for the olds kicking all that. Y'all ain't gonna go there. Y'all ain't gonna go there. Get them
So
thumbs up.
since our interview, right?
Right.
What was some of your? I know because most people have thoughts after the interview. You know what I mean? Just like you forgot to mention certain people. Was there anything else that you should have added to that interview that you didn't add?
Well, it's always gonna be something that you can always go back and redo. I wish I
Uh-huh.
can go back and redo a lot of things I did in them streets, but I can't. So
Uh-huh.
whatever was put out there was what God wanted to be out there. And I wish I had more time for people to get to know me because I come out of nowhere, and I'm from Vegas. We tiny, on the map. A lot of people overlook us and shame on them because to me, a mother's pain is a mother's pain. Now, people that want to get to know me, first and foremost, one thing about me, I'm for the solution. I'm not scary. I believe in going back in the communities and cleaning up my mess. I ain't scared of them youngsters. A lot of us that moved on and got away and feel that since I didn't move with this girl and she got some money, I ain't got to dip my feet back up over there. And that madness, I'm gone. I'm cool. They can kill each other and do all that. I don't have that type of mentality. I believe that them young black boys over there that's dying every day in the street, I believe we should address that because, with all the protests going on nationwide, everybody was screaming Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, even Sandra Bland. And everybody got, we was fussing and they got the settlement. Some police went to jail. But what about those mothers that find themselves in the church clutching a cross till she damn near broken behind burying all 5 of her sons at the hands of little black boys? Her sons don't get no memorial. We don't protest against that. We'll march at every precinct, but we won't go to where little JoJo got knocked down there by little JJ. We won't go over there and protest to death for that. Don't they matter? I mean, y'all said Black Lives Matter, or do we pick and choose when we want to get crazy?
I think we pick and choose, man. It's very
And
selective.
that's a shame.
Yeah, it
That's a
is.
shame,
Shout
bro.
out to Joy. Shout out to Marlene. I mean,
No,
because Pookie and Ray Ray, man, they doing their thing,
yeah,
man, and they're not
yeah.
being challenged.
No, they not. And it's even deeper than that. We didn't fumble the ball to the point, man. Let me explain something to you, brother. Whether people know it or not, the Martin Luther King is the face of the civil rights movement. Him and a few others, but the face of the civil rights movement is Martin Luther King. He will forever be connected to that "I Have a Dream" speech. He will forever be connected to that. But what people don't know is that when he went to jail and other people that was with him went to jail, when they went up against Bull Connors and George Wallace over there in Alabama, when they went to jail, it was the women that was the backbone of the civil rights movement. See, the people like Fannie Lou Hamer, or the Democratic Freedom Riders, she lost one of her eyes, she got her arm broke, she went toe to toe with them white folks. See, those sisters held us down when we was in jail. Those sisters was the ones, even through slavery, it was the sisters, our women, that kept us safe from the wrath of master. See, but what we did is we turned on her. We allowed her to be demeaned, desecrated, demented, and talked about and just trash. We went from calling her queens to all kind of hideous things. They bitches and hoes now. What we started doing that? She can do something can't no man do. She can give birth. And she has a strong intuition. And she tearing this mother up. And those that's vibing her, they know what I'm talking about. Them hurricanes coming through the middle passage, brother. That's why they call hurricanes.
Right. Who was Ruby Duncan?
Ruby Duncan was a woman, man, like Fannie Lou Hamer. She was a freedom fighter. She got the WIC program started in Las Vegas. She the one that if you ever heard of the book called Storming Caesar's Palace, that's a good read for y'all. Pick up that book because she actually shut the strip down. They don't want y'all to know that, but she shut it down when the mob had control of it to get the WIC program and for these people, these mamas out here that had babies. See, she was the women that we went from women like that to Cardi B. We went from women like that to Nicki Minaj. See, we putting
Explain
out
what you're saying.
narratives.
Explain what you're saying.
Look
So
at
we can.
Shirley Chisholm.
Okay.
You look at women like Shirley Chisholm, Fannie Lou Hamer, Harriet Tubman, and women like that. Harriet Tubman once put a pistol in a slave mouth that wanted to go back. She told that brother she'd rather see him dead to see him going up over there and be back in servitude. She told him she'd kill him herself on the spot. Sisters that was riders, that wasn't scared. We don't protect them. Them the women I'm talking about. We got women out here now that's getting booty injections, that's painting their faces, that's out here looking like it, and with all this these hormones, and they saying stupid stuff that don't make sense. I mean, they done took the word ebonics to a whole nother level. For real. And it's because of what? Because a woman is the image of her man. And the men out here built like tank top. They out here built like hangers with tank tops on. Look at how these youngsters built. They look like mop heads with mops with tank tops on. I swear to God.
I know you probably can't see this, but Frank Lewis said Ruby helped segregate the strip the strip blacks used to be permitted from the strip in 1989 when she shut it down.
I don't know. I don't know. She shut it down way back before then, bro. She shut it way back before then. The strip was segregated because people see we had what a black performers used to perform was at a place called a Moulin Rouge.
Uh
The
huh.
first black entertainer to perform on the strip was Sammy Davis Jr. and he
True.
performed with the Rat Pack. Okay, because old Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra refused to perform without him. But the blacks can go over the strip. That was in the '60s. See, this was way before '89. We had the WIC program in '89. The WIC program was started when I was 4 years old, which would be probably in 1978, bruh. She met with Jimmy Carter. She was on a panel of women that was from different states because Nevada was one of the last states to get the WIC program and welfare.
And explain to who is Ruby Duncan to you, bro?
Well, Ruby Duncan is my fiance's grandmama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my girl name is Libra Duncan. And she's representing her grandmama very beautiful, might I add.
Oh,
She
he
carry
said he
herself
meant
like a
since
queen.
he said he meant 69. That's what he meant.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he got his facts right. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, but she was that's what I'm talking about. We lost. I'm not saying it's not women out there like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that we as men don't recognize that it's women out there like that. We want to be with the homies. We want to be where it's at. See, we tell our
What about the
homeboys we
home
love each other
girls?
more than we do our girls. Excuse me, bro. What you say?
Forget the home boys. What about the home girls, right?
Man, y'all mean, listen, man, we tell our homies, keep it real. We tell our homeboys, I love you, homie. But when you go to
Uh-huh.
jail, his number, soon as you call it, it go, doo, doo, doo. I'm sorry, the number you have reached. But then you find yourself calling your girl, and then she got to split $80 between you and her child. You get $40, and she trying to get her little son something to eat, and she send you 40
Man,
of that. We
there
don't
are
recognize
plenty.
that in the queen.
There
We
are
don't
plenty
recognize
women that
that.
make that sacrifice, and brothers don't
Yeah,
even appreciate it. You know what I mean? Get them packages, get up them hills or the mountains or them roads to go see them. Make sure they got package. Make sure they got money on their phone. You know
that's
what I
right.
mean? And nobody talks about the trauma and the things that women have to endure and go through in order to
Oh,
support
they
these
don't,
brothers
man.
upstate, or
Yeah,
downstate, wherever the case may be.
right. Listen, man, I'm not no racist, but look, man, women, to me, the black woman, I'm not trying to disrespect white women, but until they prove that the Eve gene is not in the black woman and they can find it in another race of women, hey, the black woman carries the Eve gene. That is Eve. So I'm gonna have to, that's what the scientists say. Ain't nothing older than the black woman.
Right.
So, we got to understand that the earth is reacting the same way she is. You got crabs walking out the ocean and up the wall. You got ice rings that's melting. You got birds that don't fly south no more because they don't know what the hell winter or summer is. They can't tell it apart no more.
Mm-hmm.
It's called global warming. That's what they tell you it is. I call it a woman that has no, I call it hell has no fury like a woman that's going. Because a woman is doing this. If you think that black women is going to continue to bury their children and this earth is not going to have an effect, you crazy as hell, man. Black women are some of the most spiritual people on this planet. And believe me, when they tell you something coming to you, it's coming to you. Just like your mama used to tell you what was coming to your homeboys and you didn't listen, then you watched every one of them die the way she said they was going to die.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Just like she told you, stay away from them when you go to prison. Then you find yourself on the phone in prison going, dear mama. But enough about me.
No,
What's
but
happening with you?
that's what we here for. We hear about you, bro. We hear about Vegas. We hear about that
Oh
part
yeah.
of.
Well, what you want to know.
Listen, bro. I want to know everything.
Look, man, where you want to start? Just go point
So
me in the
let's go
direction.
all the way back to when did they start formulating the tribes, or what year do you believe that actually happened? I want to try to put a timeline on it.
Well, like I say, my daddy back in his heyday, before I was born in '74.
Uh
So
huh.
he was really doing his thing around 72, 71, 72. He left
Uh
in '79 when he got 86. Okay, the first gang to formulate after the Associates, which was a car club. It really my daddy, he really didn't have no opposition because Vegas was just a desert. It wasn't really it wasn't a populous state like that. So we didn't
Uh-huh.
really have no gangs and no territory like that. It was the Associates, the Byron Boys, and the Funkadelics. The
Uh-huh.
Byron Boys became the prototype of what was known as the GQs, which became the first Crip gang in Las Vegas. Okay, now all this here started happening, I say, around 82, 83, because at that time we were known as Ace of Spades, and we were known for riding LTDs. All the Ace of Spades had LTDs. That's how you knew that was LTDs, and they had a saying. It was the Funkadelics. When they used to go bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay, they used to go bow wow wow GPK GPK bow wow GPK GPK. That's how you know we was coming.
Uh-huh.
No, them was Ace of Spades. And then from the Ace of Spades came the Gerson Park Killers.
Uh-huh.
And that would be Dirty Rob, the Austin Boys, Kenny Mack, and all them. And Gus and all them. And from them came the Gerson Park Kingsmen. And this go blow a lot of people hair back. Some people that even claim Gerson know your history, boy. The Kingsmen's originated from a basketball team.
There's a brother
Originally.
speaking about a basketball NBA coach named Hollins or Hollis,
Uh-huh.
and he mentions. Let's see what he says. He said, "Can you ask the G? Did he know the old NBA coach? Are you there?
Ooh.
Okay, the old NBA coach that was born and raised here. I think his name was Hollins or Hollis.
So I think you talking about the recruiter, the black recruiter for the NBA? I don't know about him, no head coach. I know a black recruiter
Uh huh.
for the NBA. Yeah, that was my homie. That's my homie Josie Wells' uncle. I know
Okay,
what he's talking about.
that's a
Yeah.
cold name, Josie Wells.
Yeah, I got homie named Josie Wells, Crazy Reggie. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, and another thing, man, speaking of Vegas, because people got
Uh-huh.
a lot of misconceptions about us. And I'm gonna tell you, like for instance, California played a lot of influence in certain areas.
Uh-huh.
Now, I can say this. A guy from 74 Hoover by the name of J Rat. His real name was Junior. His government, all I ain't gonna get in that. But he started a gang out here called Northtown Gangster Crips.
Uh-huh.
That gang right there was originated by a guy from 74 Hoover.
Uh-huh.
Now the Parus, the Parus is a mix of two gangs, the Bang Bang Gang and the West Side GQ. They came together and became Parus up under Lee. I think his name was Daryl Lee. That's why the Parus are out here called Lee P. Army. Daryl Lee killed himself a long time ago playing Russian roulette with a 357. He shot
Wow.
himself in the head, and that's how they got the number Trey 57.
Okay.
You see? Yeah, but the GQs, they that's Carl Wesley's crew. They had three territories. They had one in the north, which later became Donner Street Crips. They had one on the west, which was called West Side GQs, that later became Madison Terry Pyrus. And then they had Sydney Sue, which was Sydney Sue GQs, and that was Pony Boy and Tangent. Pony Boy, aka Mad Meech, who became a 60 later on. See, this real history, Vegas history right here.
Uh-huh.
The GQs was the biggest. They died off though. Sydney Sue became Sydney Sue Gangster Crips. Madison Terry's became Paru Bloods or Paru, whatever. And the GQs in the north became Donner Street Crips. You see what I'm saying?
So everybody kind of morphed into who they are today from
Yeah.
other things.
Because of
Okay.
us. We was
Yeah.
pushing them. We was bullies, man. The Gersons was we was into conquering neighborhoods. Like we had a fight with the 6-O's back in 1988 over Carry Arms. Carry Arms is a neighborhood that was under 6-O's control because they had a neighborhood right next to it, a conglomeration of houses that was called Crip City,
Uh-huh.
right? And it was a lot of money over there. So, the guys in Carry Arms was
So what
nine
year we
times over,
talking about? We talking
huh?
in the 80s or the 90s?
1988.
Okay.
1988, we had a fight with the Rolling 60s behind they remember this, that big old fight we had behind a security guard station in the parking lot. We got down because we was on Morton and they was on West Street. And we was selling dope, but we was going back and forth shooting at each other. Now
Uh-huh.
you had this gang that was in Carry Arms that had allegiance to the 60s at first. But we being a bigger gang, when we moved over there, the influence swayed. We had more dope, we had more members, we had more guns. so we have more influence. So the guys that carry arms had to make a decision. Either we go be up under the 6-0 banner or the Gerson banner. So they chose the Gerson banner. The 6-0 say, let's put the guns down and fight over carry arms. We did that. They got out. We end up winning. We took over carry arms. They went to what is known as Rose Garden in Casa Rosa. That was then Northtown Gangster turf. They ran them out of there, and Northtown Gangsters went to Wrigley Estates and turned Wrigley Estates into Northtown Gangsters. See, that's real history. So that's how gangs shaped up out here.
So they virtually didn't have any other options.
No, and from our gang, when they up, what came after us was known as the Wax. And the Wax is a gang, like everybody, it was started by a dude, I'm just saying his name was D-Wack, okay? And leave it at that, all right? But everybody that's a Wack got Wack in their name. I mean, A through Z Wack. It's a lot of them, you know what I mean? So they came up under us. They Gersons too, but they got their own style, their own, swagger. We wear green and black, they wear green and gray. But they under the crown, them the little homies, you know what I mean? And in that war with the 60s, which was one of the bloodiest wars in Vegas history, if not the bloodiest wars, they the ones that held it down. They the ones that really pushed the line in that war, the little homies, because the big homies was on some other stuff. And I'm not going to get into that, but them 60s was knocking us down. That was knocking us down. And the little homies had to push the line and put us back up in the game because we was getting knocked down at one point, for real. It was a bloody war. A deacon got knocked. As a matter of fact, 26 people lost their life in that war in one area between Martin Luther King and Cary.
What area did they call that?
Man, that's the dub. It's not. I mean, they should call it Murderville or Murder She Wrote. Shit, as much blood is over there for real, man. It's a lot of ghosts over there, man. It's blood, but they won't show y'all that, man. They won't put us out there like that, man. It's a lot of guys.
All this taking place from the Strip, Demon?
Man, we disconnected from the Strip, man. That's one place you're not gonna find too many, people from like that's actually from Vegas. We don't really do the Strip, you know what I mean? Because we know how the police is down there, man. You know what I mean? That's their money. They serious about their money. That's why when y'all ride it over the Rodney King thing, we ride it out here too. But one thing, we didn't make it past downtown. Downtown in the Strip is like the juggler of Vegas. That's where a lot of money go through, currency. They not finna allow y'all to come down there and tear up that. That's what you not gonna do. So we didn't make it downtown. We didn't tear nothing up downtown. Right. See, that's their money. That's the money. You not finna. And Ruby Duncan shut that down. She still hated to this day for that. She shut that down. She stopped.
She had a lot of sway with the politicians, or the politicians didn't like because she was an educated woman. I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, but sometimes she had to do it the Fannie Lou Hamer's way. They took people hostage and did that, but I'm not gonna get into that. You know what I mean? That's for her. That's I'm not gonna tell that story because that's I won't do that because I'm not qualified.
Did you know Gerson, Big West, Bootsy?
That's my cousin. Big West, my cousin.
Who's your cousin?
Big West, my cousin. Bank robbing ass Big West, black ass big strong. That's my cousin. Yeah, that's my cousin.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's my cousin, man. Yeah, Big West, my cousin. Been to the fairs, all that shit.
Yeah. I was in Terminal Island with Big West.
Hey, that's my folks, man.
Green Mile.
Yeah, they tell me I look like the Green Mile, man. It is what it is, though.
Yeah,
it's in our genetics,
Right.
Yeah.
But she excuse me about Bootsy, Tony, and Cadillac in Vegas.
Yeah, Boosie. What, talking about Boosie B from PB? Rest in peace, Boosie B.
I don't know. She just put those names in the chat.
Yeah.
That's Sonia Patton, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, excuse me if I talk like this. Like I say, I'm a debater. I like to sit behind a podium, and I like to talk. I like to debate. Them white people with them bald spots in their heads that think they know everything. I like to debate them on laws of relativity. On structuralism and functionalism.
When you debating, what is one of your favorite subjects to debate?
I like ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism. Because I'm gonna tell you something. In the
Uh-huh.
1500s, you know, the 1500s was called a Renaissance. That was a European Renaissance, and
Uh-huh.
that's when the first term Caucasian came into existence. That's
Uh-huh.
when all the great minds of Europe came together and decided to put humanity on a totem pole, and they placed themselves at the top and they put us at the bottom. So I like to debate, and I'm not an Afrocentrist or nothing. I'm a universalist. So everything I bring is not going to be from an Islamic point of view or no Christian point of view. It's going to be from a universal point of view.
And
And
that's where we stand on.
yeah, you know, and if you, you know, to me, that's what we lost. You know, when we was like Frederick Douglass, okay, Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, and all those guys,
Paul,
they did
don't
not
forget
like each
Paul
other.
Robeson.
Yeah, excuse me.
Don't forget, leave out Paul Robeson.
Paul Robeson. Well, you know, all these guys, they all had newspapers and they all had different ideologies on ways, you know, for blacks to exist in this, you know, in America at a time when it was the black codes and Jim Crow and all that old stuff. Marcus Garvey was a revolutionary. He was, you know, an Africa for Africa type dude.
Uh-huh.
You know, he was what you would call a mentalist, a militant. He was like militant. And
Uh-huh.
W.E. Du Bois didn't like that type of mentality. He believed that the way you prove your integrity is by educating yourself and showing the white man that you are in fact more than 3/5 of a human being, that you are capable of being having bipedalism and standing upright and being civilized. You know, and people like Marcus Garvey felt, no, you're never going to be accepted as equals over here. We have to go back to the land of people that look like us if we want to be treated fairly. So you had two different ideologies, and it still was the same with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. You know, one fought for integration and one fought for segregation. One thing that Malcolm X agreed with the Ku Klux Klan on was segregation, and one thing that Martin Luther King lost his life for was integration.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's funny. I had a dialogue with a youngster the other day. I said, I asked him a question. I say, man, what's the 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendment? He said, getting money, pimping, and knocking niggas off. I needed
You got
therapy
to be
after I talk.
kidding
I
me.
needed therapy after I got through talking to that motherfucker. Excuse my French,
You got to
but
be kidding me.
no, I'm not serious for real. And when he said it, he left it at that. Like, yeah, and he really like believed in that. I said,
He
I'm
stood
like,
up.
yeah, like, yeah, he didn't want to hear nothing else because that's what his constitution says. Pimp is about making money, pimping, and knocking niggas off. I say, are you serious? How the hell you even here and you don't know what the 13? If you black, let me say this. I don't care what you say about me to me. If you black and you don't know what the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment is, shame on you. The 13th Amendment is slavery abolished unless it is used as a punishment to a person convicted of a crime. All right? Your ancestors lost their life for that. Remember the so-called Great Emancipation Proclamation? Okay, the 14th Amendment is the Civil Rights Act. Martin Luther King fought to get that amended, man.
Uh-huh.
So many of your people died. Remember the 1857 Dred Scott decision when Chief
Yes,
Justice Roger Taney ruled
yes,
that a black man has no rights that a white man shall respect.
yes.
And
He
then,
would remain property.
yes, sir. And in 1896, Plessy versus Ferguson, where the
Uh-huh.
Supreme Court ruled that if long as it is equal, it's separate. That's why
Uh-huh.
you had color here and white here.
Uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying? Look, man, point blank. And the 15th Amendment is the Voting Rights Act. See, those are rights that your ancestors lost. At one point in time, we did have a Black Wall Street. That was real. At one point in time, they did torture a whole town in Arkansas. It was called the Elaine Massacre, Bloody Summer. These things happen. If you want to know what it is to stand in the face of true evil, imagine what your ancestors went through to get you here, only for you to set back the hand of time. And the day you did that was the day you allowed your sister to be called a bitch and was comfortable with that. When you went to sleep after we repeatedly called our women derogatory names and told them to agitate the gravel, you got a lot of nerves. Agitate the gravel. You got a lot of nerves. Nigga, I don't want to go there. But how could you sleep
Hey
Huh?
man, I often I wonder how does that all that correlate to today's time, and how did we get so detached and removed from where we was at? Well, I understand it, you know what I mean, because there was a time where 85% of black people were married. We're down to about
Right.
30%. 61% of young black boys are single and childless. You understand? 65% of black people are in the middle class. So I really don't understand what's really holding us back outside of
Oh,
ourselves. You know?
well, see that. There you go. I'm glad you realize there's a pair of keys in your hand, and yeah, you the lock to your own key.
Yeah, that's it.
See,
That's it.
let me explain something about us as black people as a whole.
Okay.
Now, for us to endure what we have endured for so long, we're the only race of people that's scattered amongst all across the world.
What's
We're the
up,
only
crack?
race of
What's
people.
good?
Okay. Now, what you have to understand, we endured so much atrocities at the hands of other people. Take the Haitians, for instance.
Shout out
The
to
Haitians
Michelle.
is the first race of slaves that was recognized to be free after they defeated
Over
Napoleon.
son Tarrant,
Yes, sir.
Gabriel
But
process.
did you, yes, yes, sir. But did you know that before them Haitians was there, it was a whole race of Indians known as the Arawaks that
Hmm.
were exterminated? Just like in the Caribbean, the Carib Indians were exterminated when blacks were put there. Jamaicans, Belizeans, Barbadosians, Trinidad and Tobago's, all them when it was colonized. You can thank people like Hearn and Cortez for that. But see, we've been inflicted with so much atrocities, but we still here. We still here, from chattel slavery to from black codes, from all these decisions that went against us to all these slayings, the unarmed killings, the riots and all that, the uprisings. We still here, even at a time in Birmingham, Alabama, at one of our lowest points when they bombed those 4 little black girls. When nobody on our team, we couldn't do nothing but go to church and praise. That's why the churches be rocking. We couldn't do nothing but sing because the governor went on our team, the sheriff went on our team, the mayor went on our team. We wasn't nothing but a bunch of niggas. And they killed 4 little black girls. But we went in there and we found solace in the church. Our music, so powerful. It transcends the music. See, we was drinking Brass Monkey at first, doing the Brass Monkey, might I say, listening to the Beastie Boys, and then along come Easy E. He said, I don't drink Brass Monkey. Like to get funky. Nickname Easy E, yo, 8-ball junkie. And when he said that, he made a
It,
profound statement because everybody
it
became 8-ball
correlated.
junkies.
It
Everybody began
correlated.
wearing, no, we took off our Bally's and put on Nikes. We took off our Kangos and put on Raiders hats. We took off our Gazelles and put on Lokes. We start doing a Run DMC and they start crip walking. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything changed.
Yeah,
We, yeah,
and then Q busts out. I don't wear gold because it's tacky. I bust a Raider hat and T-shirt and khaki.
straight up. But I don't party or shake my butt. I leave that to the niggas with the funny haircuts. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
all that
changed that
music did.
culture. We bought
Right. And then
something. We put
Scarface.
something forward.
Exactly. And then
Yeah,
Scarface.
yeah.
They took it to a whole nother level. Scarface, Mind of a Lunatic. They was talking about, listen to the
But
lyrics to,
but let me say this before you go any further. All them genres was necessary because whatever New York created in New York, the Bronx, right? It was
right,
meant to come to California and take on another persona. It was meant to
right,
go down south and take
right.
on another persona because that
Yeah.
showed growth. That's always
Yes.
growth, right? You got to
Mm-hmm.
anything you do, you got to always have growth. So
Right,
whatever was done over in the South or in the Midwest, what you now dealing with, what they call drill music, which has
right.
to be is nihilism, is developed.
Well,
New drill music is developed. If you go look up the word nihilism,
mhm,
you'll
right.
get a firm definition of what what drill music really is. You know what I mean? I was like analyzing that a couple of days back. But go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
I want to
no,
let you
I
go.
can piggyback off what you just said.
Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
listen, man, what do the term ops mean? let me ask you a question. What do the term ops mean?
Opposition mean oppose.
Where it come from? Where
As
it
to
come
the
from?
etymology of the root word,
Yeah.
I haven't
Call of
really
Duty.
called
Call
it
of
to.
Duty, bro. Special ops, opposition, opponent.
It makes sense.
Okay. That's where they get that from. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now they have a method. No, drill music is a thing of the past. They got a new thing. It's called demon music.
Demon
See?
mule.
Yeah, it's called demon music. They on demon music now. That's what they call in Chicago. They not on the drill scene no more. They on see in 2021, over 200 rappers died. People wasn't paying attention. And nowhere in history, in no music genre, have that ever happened. In 2021, 200 rappers died.
That's a true statement. Let me read this statement. James Wood say,
Okay.
didn't Public Enemy say it take a nation of ninjas to hold us back, but
Right.
we'll overcome. MLK said, wait a minute, he said that's shaking my head. Yep.
Right.
Rizzo
That's
Crack.
true.
Good.
Yes.
Wait a
But let
minute,
me
Rizzo
explain
Crack
something to
say
you.
that's false. What's false, Rizzo
Exactly.
Crack? What's false? Break it
Exactly.
down for us, bro.
And with the if you notice the way they kill each other now,
Uh-huh.
it's ritualistic. See, that's why you go back to the video games. Just take us back to the video games. When they kill each other now, if you look at the crime scene and you listen to what they say, they normally shooting people in the face, 27 between the head, neck, and that area right there. They concentrate on that. And they really see that's where the term drill come from. Drill
Uh-huh.
you. You see, that's where the drill
So,
comes from. They shoot you all in your face and your head. Everybody that's getting killed in Chicago, everybody that's getting killed, it's a ritualistic way they kill you. They shoot you all in your face. Even in New Orleans, it's called punishing you. They shoot you all in your face. It comes from video games. You see, just like the things we used to do came from music. Music corrupted us because that was the last line of defense we had when we didn't have nothing at
so
all.
wait a minute. Let me understand you now. So you're
Okay,
saying
go ahead.
that the video game has taken on a new persona, and they actually reacting to the video games in real
Yes.
time.
San Andrews, Call of Duties, Grand Theft Auto. They got grape streets in Grand Theft Auto. They got all kind of bloods in Grand Theft Auto. Look at the way they killing each other. Shoot them all in their face. And they doing that in real life. For real. But this is my thing. Let's set that on another
Grab the
show.
link, Rizzo Crack.
Let's What'd you
I know
say?
I was telling Rizzo Crack to grab a link. I want him to jump. He's from New York. I want him to jump in
Okay, you
and
can get on
speak
in
on.
there.
Yeah,
Another
go
thing,
ahead.
man. What we have to understand, man, that's what is happening to this generation. What happened to us is I told you, Easy E, that the music, women stopped being queens. We was listening to Poor Righteous
You know
Teacher,
what?
Dougie Fresh, Run DMC. Wasn't nobody calling women the B word, them sisters like Queen Latifah and you got X Clan and all them. They was demanding respect. We
Man, I
respect
love
our
X
women.
Clan. That was my guys right there. I
Yeah.
love X Clan.
And
But you
then
know
we
when
went from that to peeping through a window. Now my body's warm. She's butt naked. And I'm peeping Tom. Her body's beautiful. So I'm thinking rape. She shouldn't left her curtains open. So that's her fate. She came out the house. I got a bitch by her mouth. Drug her back in, slammed her down on the couch. Whipped up my knife and said, "You scream up cutting, open the legs and commence the fucking." We went to saying stuff like that, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. What you think that's gonna do
what
to an
about
undeveloped mind?
we can't leave out the Ghetto Boys when it say
That's who
this
said that.
here chicken tree
That was
fell on a
Bushwick part.
weekend. Yeah, yeah, that was Bushwick Bill and all, man. That was some cold stuff back there.
That's who I was just. That was Mind of a
Uh-huh.
Lunatic, and that was Bushwick Burst.
Oh yeah, yeah, Mountain Lunatic. I thought I recognized it. What's no crack? What's
Yeah,
good?
Yo, what's good? What's good? Y'all, how y'all doing, brothers?
Mate, the man,
peace, brother.
my brother from New
Peace.
York, man. Drop some jewels on us, bro.
No,
Please.
so the only thing so when I was saying as far as like the ops, like ops does mean opposition, opposite, but it doesn't come from Call of Duty because ops in Call of Duty mean operation.
Uh-huh.
So I do play Call of Duty. It does mean operations. As far as the other video game, they do have the gangs and all that, like San Andreas and all that. They do have the gang stuff in there. But me personally, I feel like real life influenced the video game. I don't feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like the video game is influencing real life, because this was created, like the gangs and all that was created before the video game. So that's just mimicking what people see in real life. It just became so much of a trend, so to speak, or fad.
But do
That
you think that the real life incident set the precedent from them to fudge the mark? In other words, create a narrative that wasn't really associated with gang culture. In other words, take it farther than what it really was. Can we say that?
Say that one more time.
Do you think that the gaming, right? That
Yeah,
it took, it set a precedence. It took from the culture itself, but it also elevated the culture and pushed it further out than what it really was. Because what's behind the appearance is the reality.
that's a fact. That's a fact. That's and because so it and it's crazy because when you go into that, it's like it's major, because it started from something so small, but it just goes to show how even with hip hop, like how the powers that be take from us, right? They turn it into something. They make money off of it. However, we still look like, you know what I mean, like the bad guys, or you know what I mean.
But
If
let
that
me
makes
say
Well,
sense.
this, Wizzo Crack.
if,
Let
if
me say this. For those who don't know, this man right here is responsible for the opening, the intro song to the Hood Postman. This man right here.
Oh yeah,
Hey, I
definitely.
salute you for being the opening to the intro song, but brother, in all fairness, we can always agree to disagree. But brother, see, one thing you have
Absolutely.
in life, you have two type of knowledges. You have indirect knowledge and you have direct knowledge, brother. Now, indirect knowledge is something I learned as a gangbanger. It's something you learn through experience. Direct knowledge is something you learn from the source. Now, when you say video games and ops and all that don't come from that, well, brother, I must disagree with you because see, I don't know what you get. You said personally, meaning that's how you feel. Now, me, I don't play video games, and video games never influenced me. And I was one of the most treacherous gangbangers in Vegas. So that logic right there, it can easily be scrutinized, and I don't want to do that because men sharpen men just as iron sharpens iron. But let me
No,
tell you this:
but
I got my
we're
information.
saying the same
Let
thing.
me say my piece, my brother, and
All
then you
right,
can say yours. See, that's how we do it. Now,
all right.
I went to the source. I went to the youngsters, and I asked them where did the term come from, and the youngsters told me that it came from video games. Now, brother, if you in the streets with the youngsters and you can refute that, then that's cool. But see, I went to the source. This ain't something that I think. I went to them and I asked them, the ones that's doing the killing, the ones that's playing the games, the ones that's using the terms. And they told me where it came from. Now, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about it because we ain't going to get nowhere. But tell me
Nah,
something that
absolutely
I
not.
don't know. Yeah, but tell you know what you got. You know what you get your information from. I'm more than likely to sit back and I want to hear it because I want you to sharpen my tool, bro. I'm not gonna say you wrong or right. I just want to listen to you. So go ahead and give what you got.
So as far as that, your youngsters and my youngsters, we from two different parts of the country. So the
Yeah.
youngsters where I'm from, they say the term came from Chicago. They don't say it came from video game. They say the term ops came from Chicago.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And it also means it means opposite. So, and to my understanding, and because I like I said, I played the video game Black Ops. It's more military, but the ops in that video game stand for operation. Now, as far as the other game, that one is different. But when I say we're saying the same thing, because I feel like you said, video games never influence you, and I play video games. It never influenced me either. So I feel the same way you do. The video games don't influence me. I feel like we're the ones that influence the creators of the video game. Like we influenced them to be able to make money off of something that we created.
Okay.
And we didn't figure out how to capitalize off of something that we created. Like the last time I was on here, I was saying to Melly Mel, just imagine if the creators of Bloods, Crips, GD, all that, just imagine if they was to receive a nickel a month off for every member that ever joined. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, but it's not like that. However, you got all these other entities and everything that's not a part of the culture, that never been a part of the culture, but they're capitalizing off the culture.
Yeah, whether it's blue rags, whether it's golf
Hey, you
caps,
know what,
whether it's
brother?
trucks,
I
whether
like
it's
this
all
brother,
these
and
different
I
things
feel
that's
his
associated
passion and his
with our culture.
sincerity. Go ahead, Melly. I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Everything that's associated with our culture and everything that we brought to the table and made it, and we popularize it, is other folks making money off of. You're absolutely correct to that part.
Yeah.
But as to the
What I would say to that is, I would say this, bro. And what you saying is you hit that out the ballpark, bro. And we need more brothers like you to bring that to the forefront. But if I can probably like go a little bit deeper, what you
Mm-hmm.
know, to give that like even reparations. You know what I would focus on right now, because we suffering from what is known as menticide, which is a destructive way of thinking that causes the pathological behaviors you can see displayed in the black community. Until we address the curriculum, the sickness in our thinking, giving a nickel to us is similar to giving a nickel to a monkey. Because if you don't know what to do with that nickel, and you go take that nickel, or take that nickel to buy some poison to poison your people with, or take that nickel and try to pimp your sister with that nickel to take somebody else's people. See, we got to work on education. Mike Tyson was a millionaire, but he wasn't able to think. See, we need to focus on education, man. We need to change the curriculum before we thinking about money, because until we change the sickness in our thinking, which is priceless, you can't put no amount of money on that, because we fighting for the soul of our people. The black male has become an endangered species.
shout out to the Mailroom Nation. What part of that when we started? Because there's many elements and many things that we can point out in the community that's wrong. But where would we start first? What would that look like?
Well, honestly, how I start first, I go right to the core of the problem. I go to the kills and the one that got the coldest names. I go to the ones that got the bodies, the ones that everybody is scared of, and I get them by themselves. And I'm not gonna lie, I still have influence. Listen, homie, I used to worship the devil, homie, and I followed what Anton LaBey said. I indulged, I quenched my thirst, but I quenched my thirst on the blood of my own people. I've been to hell, so I don't care what you call yourself or how many bodies you got. I done had a dialogue with Satan, so I ain't scared to look no man in his face, because he got to sit down and use the bathroom the same way I do.
Let me ask you
So
a
I
question.
believe.
Steve.
Go ahead. Go
When
ahead.
you was following the devil, and you believe in the devil, and you worship the devil, what was that? What was that headspace like? What was in your head at that time?
Darkness, quenching my thirst, indulging,
Was
letting
blood?
go to
Was
my
the blood?
urges.
Was it
That's what
blood that
Satanism
quenched
is
your
about.
thirst?
Yeah, hey, listen, it was like this here. It was like, homie, I was to the point to where it's like this here, homie. There's no bounds that I wouldn't go. There's nothing I wouldn't do. There's no highs that's too high. There's no lows that's too lows. There was nothing that I wouldn't do to kill you.
Uh-huh.
And I mean that.
What was the
When I
driving
was
force though
evil,
inside the
I would
devil? There was
listen, and I
some
did it in the
driving.
name. I did it. Hey, I prayed to the 13 candle. I look at it as sacrifice, homie.
Uh-huh.
You see, that's what I was on. That's why they call me demon. I was really with that. So I know how to talk to people, and I understand that sometimes when you so kill it tough, you really just scared. It's
Did
fear.
you did you ever distinguish what was actually that made you that angry?
Oh yeah. Well, what made me that angry was deep inside me. No matter what I did to people, or who I hurt, or no matter how much I was known out there on the street, or where, how much blood I spilled, I always deep inside knew I was nobody. I knew at one point I didn't know how to read. I knew at one point that if I didn't have my homies or no allegiance to a gang, that
Charles
I
the
was
First
nobody. I was scared to be by myself, but I didn't want nobody to know that. And I wreaked havoc because I was scared to be alone. My father was kicked out of the state of Nevada, and I joined the gang when I was 10, and I was raised in the streets. I was smoking sherm when I was 10 years old. I was doing beer runs when I was 12. I done been to mental institutions. I done been to Nevada Youth Training Center 3 times. I done been to Shelby Training Center twice. I done been to the Crazy House. I done been to Cali Ante, and all before I turned the age of 17. I've been convicted of 5 gun charges, homie. I didn't strangle counselors. You can't tell me nothing when it comes to evil. You looking at the epitome of it.
What was your breakthrough?
When I was in the hole with 5 years with nothing but a Bible in my drawers, and some told me to read, and I
And
started educating myself.
when you read
Huh?
it, when you when you open up that Bible and you start to read,
Yeah.
what what kind of feeling did it give you at that point? Because something happened, the dynamics shift, your way of thinking had changed. What was that?
I'm gonna tell you what happened. The first time I picked it up, I looked at it and I threw it at the wall. That's what I
Uh-huh.
did. And I went over there and I kicked it. I tried to kick it up under the door, but it was too thick. So I went and set it up. I sat on my bed and it just stayed there. It wasn't going nowhere, and neither was I. So I picked it up and I read it. And you know,
Cover
one
to
thing
cover?
I realized is I had a knack for retainment. I can retain a lot of information. And one character I became real close with was King David. King David would man, ain't nobody don't nobody in the Bible have more blood on their hands than King David. He killed thousands of men. He murdered Saul's family. But when God got through with him, even Jesus was proud to say that he came from the bloodline of David, Solomon's father, King Melanich's father, Solomon, the Queen of Sheba's son of the great Ethiopian and Abyssinian Empire. See, that was the seed that was planted that took me to books to, Behold a Pale Horse, the Committee of 300, the Valley of the Dry Bones, Kemet, Children of the Sun, Breaking the
I read
Psychological
all
Chains
those
of
books.
Slavery, so on and so forth. And that's what led me on my journey. And that's how I broke the psychological chains of slavery, because I was a slave to ignorance.
Yeah, because
I was.
you was under a spell. You was under a
Oh
spell.
yeah. He had me, he had his claws in me. He had me really thinking he was powerful until every time I got in trouble, and then he left. He'll direct you to where you need to go, but when the dirt is done, he go be gone.
So out of that 5 years, right? You
Yeah.
spent in the hole. You spent in darkness. You read the
Uh-huh.
Bible cover to cover. How many times did you read it?
Man, I stopped counting. I stopped counting, man. I stopped counting. I stopped counting,
So
man. And then I started reading the dictionary. And then I started reading the Reader's Digest, and I just started reading books. And then I don't know, something in me just craved books, and no matter what I did, I just craved them, and I just read. And I'm not gonna lie to you, something like opened up in my mind, and I start looking at things different. I start if people come to me and they say, "Hey man, we finna take off after lunch," I'll be like, "Why? What for?" Because the essays, they grouping up. I'm like, why they grouping up? See, I start asking questions because I found out that Napoleon was right, that the greatest battles are won when not a lick of blood has been shed.
true.
So I became less physical and more mental.
So
I
you
would rather,
start intellectually respond. You mentally
yeah,
respond instead of emotionally react because you was
exactly.
okay.
And that's how you beat the devil. The
Well, let me
devil,
say
see if
something,
you,
Wizzo. Hold on a second, Wizzo. You
okay.
tied up? Look like you driving or something.
Yeah. Now I'm driving. I was just letting the brother Bill. I wanted to
Oh,
say something on some that we were speaking
Man,
of earlier. You know
man,
what
I
I mean?
know,
But
man, please, man, I'm talking too much. Please, I don't want to talk no
yeah,
more. I'm gonna sit back and
nah.
listen to
It's
y'all.
cool. It's cool. Nah, because you was going somewhere with that word. I mean, like that's stuff that people need to hear, because a lot of people ain't really been through much, and a lot of people be taking things for granted. You know what I mean? But one of the things you were speaking on was education. And as far as education, I feel like one of the most important educations that we do need to know, because one thing you said was you could give a person a nickel, but they not know what to do with it. I feel like it's financial education,
All
and that's
right.
not a part of the curriculum. It's never been when it should be. Like that's something that they should be teaching us in
that's on
school.
purpose, bro.
It's financial
Right.
education. That's a
Absolutely
fact.
right.
That's on
That's
purpose.
not by accident.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's not by accident.
because if they
You're
taught you
absolutely right.
finances, then you would know that the value,
Wow.
the wealth of this country is determined by the land, not the money. It's determined by the
Exactly.
land
And
you own.
and
And if you got financial literacy, you would know to buy property and purchase commercial buildings and commercial property. You would know that
and
coming out of
and I would just add to that, the trust. See, once we get this money, we have to learn and have and trust each other to invest in our own. We don't invest. We rather our women go get their nails did by China. No disrespect to the Chinese community. Your hustle is your hustle, but they go get their feet did by Chinese people when you got sisters that can do nails just as good as the Chinese people. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? We got
But
to
they
start
don't believe
investing
it.
in our own.
so
Huh?
you know what
They
it
don't
be though?
believe it.
It's a psychological thing though. Like
Uh-huh.
it's
They don't
it's
believe
it's
it.
mental. Like that I feel like stuff like that was mentally taught. Like for example, like I went out to eat with my grandmother one time, right? And we had a restaurant, and the meals was expensive. I want to say they probably was anywhere between $30 and $50, right? And one of my brothers was there, and he was looking at the menu. He's like, $30. And my grandmother was like, oh, sometimes you got to treat yourself. But then a couple of days later, I go to my homegirl of the block that's selling plates, and I bought a plate for $18. And my grandmother asked me, like, how much was the plate? And I was like, $18. She's like, $18? Like, and I'm like, yo, grandma, you the same person that was just in the restaurant that didn't have a problem with spending $30 to $50 in the restaurant, saying you got to treat yourself, but you don't want to spend $18 with somebody you know up the block.
Right.
So it's like it's a mental, like we gotta break
So
that psychological, you know what I mean, way of
absolutely.
thinking. Like we gotta
Absolutely.
break
Yes.
So
that
let
way
me
of
let
thinking.
me
Yes.
Like
address this young brother right quick. Go young DJ. Go young DJ. Okay, let me break it down for you, bro. See, this land was founded on blood. It was founded on bloodshed. It was founded by criminals. They came and took the land. They took the land for a purpose. The wealth of this country is determined by the land you own. That's why when they released the slaves, they refused to give you that 40 acres of land because if you had ownership, then you had rights, you had resources. So the wealth of this country is determined by. That's why when you see all the big wealthy guys, every last one of them own property. They own land. They have businesses, but they number one resource of wealth is through land ownership. It's not business. Business comes with that. It's hand in hand. But what I'm telling you, the wealth of this country is always determined by the land. It don't matter if you got it don't matter if it's a piece of dirt. Go look it up. I'm not telling you nothing wrong, but you kind of shot that business in there because it's a new way of thinking. But the wealth of this
Okay.
country has always been determined. That's why the Donald Trumps, the Donald Sturges, the Mark Cubans, Warren Buffett, all these guys, the guys that own Silicon Valley, they own land. They always invest their money in land and technology in our land.
I would say to that, Melly.
He added this to the five things
What he's also.
let me finish it. Let me land right there. There are five things that drive everything. That's science, biology, physics, mathematics, and chemistry. Those five things right there are 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 are, are drive this country more than any other subject. Any other subjects.
When you talk wealth, man. Look, bro. When you talk wealth, if you, I like when we had the discussion, and I told you to take out a dollar bill, and I
Uh-huh.
told you to look at the eagle, and I told you to look at the halo on top of the eagle, and I told you inside that halo is 13 stars that
Uh-huh.
symbolize the 13 original colonies that
Uh-huh.
symbolize the United States of America.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but when you do your outlining of that star, it's the Star of David. Okay, the Federal Reserve came into existence under Woodrow Wilson, so that the League of Nations, which became the United Nations, I think back in 1919. Okay, but when you
Uh-huh.
talk about wealth, you're talking about Meyer Amter Rothschild.
Uh-huh.
Now, we need to take a page from the Jews, because if I'm gonna keep it real with you, every country that then got invaded since the invasion of Iraq, when George Bush Sr. came into office, he named 5 axes of evil, which was Iraq, Iran, Syria, North Korea, and Libya. All 5 of those countries do not have a World Bank. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so let's get that straight. So who own the World Banks? Meyer Amter Rothschild. The name Rothschild means red shield. He
Uh-huh.
hid his ID. He was a German Jew. He had 5 sons. He sent them throughout Europe, and they invented the banking system. Those are the ones that you call the 1%. Them the ones that own everything. And you know how they amassed that? Because the Jews have 2 books. They have the Torah and they have the Talmud. And the Talmud teaches them economic domination. That's why Jews invest in Jews, and we can't be mad at them because of that.
No.
Look at look at LeBron James manager, sports manager. Look at his agent. Look at the league. Both commissioners of the NBA have been Jewish. Hell, look at Joseph Stalin, the big three, Winston Churchill, Joseph Stalin, and Delano Roosevelt. They were Jewish. That's World War II. Hitler was Austrian and Jewish.
But we, like
That's
you said, one of the key things you said earlier, though, we don't trust each other.
Yeah, but we got to take a page from the Jews. We got to come up with our own doctrine to where we have to, we seek economic, listen, as much as we claim to have a hustle, if we can sit our ass on a corner for 9 hours and amass 400 funky ass dollars from selling crack, we can come up with a system to build our own goddamn bank if you got that much patience, brother.
Let me ask you something, man.
But
when somebody attain a lot of money, right? Whether they go into business or not, what is some of the first thing they start purchasing?
I can hear you. Land.
Okay, then. So I'm trying to educate this brother right here, but he keeps trying.
No, I just went to the beginning of the banking system, bro.
No, not him.
I'm
not talking about you. I'm talking about this brother in the chat. He keep wanting to talk about commercial business.
Man, listen. Man, you got listen. Sometimes, see, that takes us to the book, The Spook That Sat by the Door. We have to be wise enough to know when some questions are not worthy of being answered. Because you ain't doing that. We don't get that type of that we don't do that. What we do is we bob high. I came to this platform and I chose this platform because I felt something. I don't go off what I see. I have not nature stripped that from me. I have a new way of learning. I go by what I hear. That's how I get out. That's how I learn. I go by what I hear. And what I hear from this platform, it touches me. It makes me emotional. Hell, sometimes I cried. Because these brothers got the same story as me. When I hear OG Bam from Foothill talk, it brings tears to my eyes. Because I'm like, he know what it's like to be backstabbed. So I'm not the only one that feel this way. See, I'm getting emotional now. I'm serious with this shit. I give my life for these youngsters, homie. For real. Just like I gave it to my hood. You think I ain't gonna ride for these youngsters? They deserve to have a chance, man. We dropped the ball, but that don't mean they shouldn't get a chance to run with it. What we gonna say, F them? I ain't going back to the hood. Yeah, because the hood wasn't never yours. You didn't kill people over the turf that you say, don't come over here.
That's why
you killed your own people, but when them white folks came in and tore it down and put a shopping center on top of it, what you do then? The same thing I did. Went and found someone else to play.
Ownership,
right.
Bro. Ownership. That's why we gotta free ourselves from ancestral trauma while cultivating and master soul lessons while we cultivate space for the abundance to flow, because we are the divine abundant force. And we got to get back to what is the true essence of the black man and black woman. We have been misguided and miseducated. So therefore, we got to get back. In order to get the truth, we got to first take all the lies out, bro. That's just the matter of it. We got to take all the lies out. And how we take the lies out is brothers like yourself, brothers like Wizzo. Great artists out there in New York doing this thing, but this music, because music, what happened, and you spoke about music earlier, right? And I want to make this point. What music do, like when you spoke about Easy E and you spoke about Bushwick Bill, Mind of Blue Tape, that's called headyism. Headyism is something that gets into your head and it give you. You ever hear somebody humming a tune like, whatever it may be, you know, what's walking in the rain with the one I love? Next thing you know, it's in your head.
Right.
That's how easy it happens, man, because we are programmed in a way to where we are on frequency. And you and I talked about being on frequency, right? Talking to you, Demon.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, you're absolutely right. But you know, you just like you said, you hear somebody hymning, and then you might catch on and you find yourself hymning that. So
Right.
what do you think going on when you got music like this? Ouija, are you with me? More murder, murder, more murder.
That's the
Ouija,
same
are you
thing.
with
The
me?
same
You
thing is
see?
happening, but but it's on a lower desire. The
Yeah.
frequency is very it's on a low it's on a destruction, a path of destruction.
But it shows how powerful
So
music is.
look how short lived was X-Clan and all those ones that was given that power, that driving force, that frequency
Right.
of a higher
It-
thinking and a higher learning. They got rid of that out of hip hop.
yeah.
They
The
shut that
Fat
down
Boys.
because they knew
Yeah.
where that was gonna take us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was gonna open up the gate.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a patch out and let y'all continue to build. It was definitely good talking with y'all though.
And we like
All
building
right,
with you
for
too,
sure,
brother.
man. Good luck not on the intro, man. You did that thing, man. Hopefully, if I get blessed to have a podcast one day, you can do mine, my brother.
Yo, just holla at me, man. Mel got my
For
info. You
sure,
know how to
man.
get in touch with
Man,
me, man.
shout out to
Word, I
Rizzo,
appreciate it
man.
though.
Rizzo
Yeah,
Cracker.
shout out for that brother, man. I hope I ain't just block you out with my words, man. If I did, I'm
Nah, of
sorry,
course not,
man.
man. It was good building with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, like we just having it's just dialogue. Like we not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I'm not taking offense to nothing you saying. I'm listening. You know what I mean? Like I'm hearing you. I'm listening, and I'm giving you my response.
So
You know
before
what
you
I mean?
go, Rizzo Crack, what can they find you? Tell them where they can find you.
WIZOCRACC on everything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. It's Wizzo
Okay.
Crack. WIZOCRACC.
Y'all tap in with my
Definitely,
man. He's
man.
responsible for the Hood
Yeah,
Boastman song, man. That's my
bro.
guy.
He killed
So,
that, man.
Word,
It's
shout
man.
so
out to
tight.
Y'all
Rizzo.
brothers keep doing what y'all doing.
We'll build
You know
later,
what I mean?
Rizzo.
Word, definitely. I'll tap back in with y'all.
Okay,
All
lock
right,
it
my
down.
brother.
All right, la.
Lock the door. That was a good old brother, man. Sorry if I
Yeah, yeah.
went too
Well,
far when you was doing
no,
your
no, no,
thing,
no.
man.
You just
I ain't mean
passionate
to get
about
into
what you're
Rothschilds
doing.
and all that. I didn't know I was going too far, but you got talking about money. I'm talking about you can't talk about money without talking about them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no,
And that's a
definitely,
whole
because
nother
they
story
created the
for a whole
banking
nother day,
system.
though.
They
Yeah, they
created
created the banking
the
system.
banking system.
You know, it is what it is. You know what I
Right.
mean? It is what it is.
So,
You know,
but
they got a
interesting book,
doctrine.
right? Committee
Hmm?
300, where they talk about the Committee 300, the book, Committee
Yeah,
300, where they talk about the Carlyle Group, the Rothschilds, the Vanderbilts, the
yeah. The
uh, the
Hasbergs,
Rockefellers,
the Rockefellers, the
and the
Yorkers, the Miriams,
DuPonts,
all of them. There's a bunch
and the
of them, man.
DuPonts. You know, so
Excuse me.
tell me.
Don't forget people like Henry Kissinger,
Uh huh.
and he was Jewish, man.
Uh huh.
He was Secretary of State. People don't understand that Jews play. Listen, let me tell you how cold they is. They fund both sides of the war. The Jews, they never lose. So no matter whoever lose the war, you got to pay them Jews. They funds both sides of the war. So whoever lose, you got to pay them Jews. They go get their money regardless. You see what I'm saying? And even during the Civil War, the
Uh
war
huh.
secretary of the Civil War was called P. Benjamin Judah.
Uh
It
huh.
was a Jew that fought for the Confederacy.
Mm-hmm.
See, but it was also the Jews that started Mary Overton and I think Spingham that started the NAACP, and they made Medgar Evers the first president. But it was founded by white Jews. And I'm not being
How
anti-Jew.
close related was that movie 48 Hours when you saw the two guys that bet a dollar? You remember that?
What,
That
what
scene,
happened?
48 Hours with Eddie Murphy, right?
Which
And the
one?
two,
Number one and number two?
they don't matter. The first one. And they had
Okay.
the two guys, I can't remember their names, but they both bet a dollar.
Gans. His name was Gans.
Okay, the Yans.
Yeah.
When they both bet a dollar on who would win, or they could transform Eddie Murphy and make him this rich guy, even though he was a homeless guy. But it's
Mm,
the same scenario. What you're saying, they both bet a dollar to
right.
see who would win. You know,
Right.
it was a competition, is what you're explaining. That's why I know what you're
Yeah.
saying, but I'm just utilizing that scenario to explain what you're saying. It would, in
Yeah.
other
Well,
words, they don't care about who wins as long as they be
they
able
get
to
paid.
control the
See, yeah.
competition.
Look, see what happened was during World War One. See, the reason why Hitler came into power was because Germany was humiliated. The Treaty of Versailles, when Germany was defeated in the First World War, they had to pay all that money, man. So Germany was in a state of demilitarization. They was in a state of depression. That's why Hitler, when he came along, he came and brought this doctrine and
Hmm.
reinvigorated his people up on a socialist movement. You know what I'm saying? That's what in the
Trading
Nazi
places.
stand for National Socialist Labor Party. He was from a labor party. You see what I'm saying? Now Heinrich Himmler and Goring and all them whole nother case. But Hitler, he came and put self-esteem back in the German people. You see? And that's why he targeted the Jews, because he knew that they had come on, man. Let's just keep it real. Who the only race of people that Great Britain went and told? Look, Great Britain went and told the Palestinians that been there for thousands of years. If you look in the Bible, the Palestinians are the Philistines. If they told these people that's been there for so long that, hey, we know y'all been here. We know this is your land. You know, we know Jerusalem has been up under the Ottoman Empire and all that. But hey, we're gonna let the Jews come back and just let them have certain parts of it here, and y'all have this part and do this. What you think them people gonna say? And then it was like, well, we have a biblical right. See this book right here. It says that God gave us the land of Canaan, and see, they don't even believe in that. But they the only race of people that got the state of Israel to come into existence. They took them a state. Who else done that? And they the only ones that don't have to account for their nuclear bombs in the G8 summit.
And it was perfect because they was able to set up themselves with with Jerusalem, and also establish themselves as the Jewish people, the lost tribe. When we know that, well, they're not really the lost tribe because they came from Germany and Poland. Those were
Poland. Well, yeah. Well, you know, see, people, they hear the term Jew, but they get it misconstrued because the term Jew is just a abbreviation for one tribe, which is Judah. There's 12 tribes of Israel. You know what I mean? So a lot of people get it misconstrued, man. I don't get into that because it get real racial and ethnocentrism come out. And people don't believe that blacks were Jews, and you know, you can't take none.
Well, you got
the Queen of Sheba, Haile Selassie.
You got the Sephardic, Ashkenazi, and the Palasha. Palasha is the African Jew, but Ashkenazi is the European, and the Sephardic is the desert Jew. So there are three different types.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, you know, man, you know, Haile Selassie, you know, the line of Judah, you know, Tez Rastafari, you know, he come from the direct bloodline of King Menelik I and the Queen of Sheba. You see, the Queen of Sheba, she's actually from Saudi Arabia. She's not from Abyssinia, which is Ethiopia. She's actually from Saudi Arabia. See, which rebuked the Arab claim of that land, which means black sand. That was our land. There's no such thing as the Middle East. That term was first used during World War II by a white war correspondent. There's no such thing as the Middle East, man. That's East Africa or Northeast Africa.
That was called it. That was them doing the divide and the separatism. You know, in order to separate it from Africa, because it's all part of Africa. The maps that we see are actually not the real maps of the world. They're there to.
No, it's not. And Africa is not Africa. It's actually named after a Roman general who defeated Hannibal.
Africanus.
So you know, see how we vibe high. You see, that's vibing high. Now, when black men can get together and talk about this instead of, you know, look at that female over there calling her a derogatory name, like, damn, I want to kill this N-word, or, you know, stuff that don't never take us nowhere that we've been through. When we can get together and we can have these kind of conversations that's subtle, where we ain't disrespecting each other, and we just, you know, volleying ideas out there. We ain't doing no Charleston Whites. We ain't playing Sambo. You know what I'm saying? We ain't doing none of that. And I'm not trying to call him out or nothing like that, but if he want to sit down, he want to debate, I'll be more than happy to spank him. You know what I'm saying? He's long overdue because he can't get on my I'll be more than happy to spank him. He can bring the sheriff, and I'm glad he like him because I want him there too. Because I'm gonna teach him his history. While you sitting there learning years, I'm gonna teach him his history. So send him to Charleston White. I don't need that fade. Let's get a mental fade in. You can bring your bad words. You can talk about my mama, all that.
What subject matter would you like to debate Charlie White on?
Man, whichever he want to. He can listen. He ain't gonna bring no topic. He not gonna bring no logic. But he's gonna bring.
What he like to do? What he like to do? Even he like to figure out. What he does is study his opponents, right? He figure out what you talk about less, and then he go study up on the subject matter that he feel that you're not capable of speaking on, and then he try to bring that to the topic or to the table, and then when he stump you, then that's when he come in for, you know, to try to make you look like you know,
man,
you don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't sat down in front of some of the most racist, Nazis, the ones that's not all rah with it, the ones that's real subtle, that talk to you nicely,
Uh-huh.
that don't call you the N-word, they call you a useless eater.
Uh-huh.
The one that recite old, weird, washed up, debunked mysteries of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. The ones that's real into that Scythians. I call them Scythians. The ones that's really into that vandalism and that Aryanism, which is fictitious. Let me
Uh-huh.
explain something to people. The concept of Aryanism. Okay, Aryans are not a race of people. Aryan is a language, man. That's
Mm-hmm.
why when Heinrich Himmler went to Tibet to find them Aryan race, there was none. It's a language. It's not a race. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So once you know a person's history, they can't use it as a weapon against you, especially when you know yours too. So what I do is I don't try to, make white people feel less than they are. I just try to tell them that, what y'all been saying about me is absolutely wrong. And this is who I really am. And you not finna take that from me. I'm gonna stand up with mine. This is what my ancestors left me. Y'all lied.
Mm-hmm.
I've been bamboozled, but now I'm here. And you got to accept my presence for what it is, regardless of how powerful it may be. I'm a man of the sun. I'm an upright man. You see, I'm melanated. You see, I'm connected to everything that's around here. I'm connected to this earth, this air, this fire, this water. Everything this earth consists of, you go find it in my body. And you don't know how old I am. What can you mix to make me? You can take an Aztec, a Spaniard, and an Indian, and you can take an Aztec, a Spaniard, and what's that? A Portuguese, and get
Mm-hmm.
a Puerto Rican. You could take a Spaniard and an Aztec and get a Mexican.
Right.
You could take an
Because for the
African and a
1500s, there was
Spaniard
no such
and
thing
get
as
a
a
Cuban.
Mexican. Uh-huh.
Okay, and you got Europe, you got Dutches and Swiss. What are you? I'm Dutch, Irish, and Switzerland. You have three type of white people.
Spanish
Nordic.
is a European language, by the way.
Yeah, well, listen, that's what we'll get to. See, there are three type of white people. There's the Nordics are the blonde haired and blue eyed ones.
Uh-huh.
The Alpine are the olive colored, olive eyed ones, and then it's the Mediterraneans. Those are the three type of white people that they are. Now, what race do you mix to make me? That's the $1 billion question. When
They
you
can't
can find
they
out
can't
how
make
old I
you
am,
because
yeah,
you
because
made
I don't come
them.
from no monkey. Yeah, I didn't get my
Right.
bipedalism from no monkey. That's been debunked, brother.
Yeah,
So
because
you
we
can,
are the makers and the owners
there you
and the
go.
creators of civilization.
There you go. We have no. They thought the Chinese was older than us, and the Chinese just admitted that they came from us. So where do we go from here? See, they keep that out the news, just like during the OJ trial. I'm gonna tell you something so profound, and I want y'all to listen to me. Don't y'all know when they was doing the OJ trial that the government was also on trial for the murder of Martin Luther King, and during the OJ trial, the government was found guilty of
Yeah,
playing a role in the assassination of Martin Luther King, but they kept
exactly.
y'all busy with the OJ trial. So y'all didn't even know that. And then they found them not guilty, which really made you feel good, but you were distracted. I told you, the one that controls the narrative controls the situation. Believe that. Now we can end it on that note if you want to.
No, I want you to keep going. Keep going. Blow it. Keep
You
that
know, I
smoke
ain't.
going,
Nah,
man.
I got to say some. People get bored. I don't want to be like I know it all because I don't know nothing.
Charge
I
to the
swear I
devil,
don't. I'm
Jason.
gonna
Charge to
forever
the
be a
devil,
student in
man.
life, man.
Yeah.
AC Bobby Louis said it the best. He said the day you become a learned man is the day you a dead man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, look what I got right here.
What is that? You ain't gonna do no push-ups after that.
I'm sure
You
not.
ain't gonna do 50 downs after that.
I
Yeah.
need to, right?
Yeah. Do some push-ups in, man. But it's always a pleasure talking to you,
Man,
Mally. I
it's
don't
such a
wanna.
pleasure, man. I
But yeah,
appreciate you, bro.
I debate people. That's why I talk like this. So
Don't
I'm used
worry.
to having a certain amount of time to speak. So
Don't
that's why
worry.
I speak like this. So if you put me, I just get me and Charleston White together and let us go and let the viewers be
Man, I
let
sure
them
would
be
like to
the.
be the one to make that
And
happen.
I'm not coming to disrespect him. And he could call. I'm not into disrespecting dead people. I'm gonna let him do that. If he want to come here and he want to do the buck dance, I'm gonna let him do the best buck dance, river dance, coon dance, whatever he do dance. Do that. But
Let's
when I
do
get
it.
through with you, when I get
Let's
through
do
with
it.
you, I'm gonna spank that ass. I'm not talking about violence and none of that. Like I say, he can do what he do. But
Let's do it.
I want to have a dialogue with him
Let's do it,
for
Demon.
real.
I
Yeah, and ain't
appreciate
no
you, my
paperwork
brother.
gonna come out on me, so he can look and all that. He can't do nothing but tell on me. Yeah, do that. I don't give a damn about none of that because I debate them too.
I
For real.
appreciate you, man.
Man, I appreciate you giving me a platform. And
Shout out to
anybody that
Libra Duncan for jumping in there too,
that's my boo, Wookie Bates.
man.
Yeah,
Hey, so until we do it again, man, I appreciate you, man.
man. All right, man. Thank you for
You
giving
was an
Vegas a
awesome
platform,
guest.
man. For
The
everybody
mail
that
room,
stayed to, yeah, for everybody that stayed to hear
the
me.
mail room dudes
Thank you.
support you, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. Hey, man. Hey, look, Melly, that's 100, man. You giving, Vegas its exposure, and I'm gonna try to talk to a few more guys, like the Michael
Man, I
Finleys
want to come
and the
back. I want
Kaylays,
to come back,
and
man.
even I'm gonna try to find head cutter for you,
Oh yeah,
and
finally head
yeah,
cover, man.
Pac-Mans and the
What about
Pac-Mans and the
Big Mike?
K-Dogs. I'm gonna
I
try to
forgot
find them
about
for
Big
you,
Mike.
man, so you can get them on. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that, man. But some people be scared of platforms. They see people getting indicted and stuff because a platform is a rope. You can use it to, bring up your people and do for positive stuff, or you can use it to hang yourself. And you see
Right,
a lot of people get indicted off these platforms. And me, I know the feds watching me, and I just want the feds to know that God is watching them. You know what I'm saying? Don't
say
be
that
mad at
part.
me. Yeah,
Say
J.
that
Edgar Hoover
part.
said that they wanted to prevent the rise of a black messiah. Well, the day J. Edgar Hoover can rebut God, because God said he always raises leaders amongst their peers. And when I'm gonna tell you something, when J. Edgar Hoover died, it was a black man that stood over his corpse, his chauffeur,
J. Edgar Hoover was half black, a quarter black.
and a cross dresser. But that's another story. We go end it on that note, okay? Because they're
Okay,
gonna be kicking them.
man,
They
go
got
ahead
the
and lock this
Patriot
over
Act,
here,
and
man. Lock this up.
they can do all this strange stuff now. You can, so me, I didn't already expose myself for who I
Hey
am,
man,
a
we got to
Negro
get
that
into some
actually can
Steve
think.
Coakley next time. So Steve Coakley, where he disposed the boule, the black
Oh yeah, for
boule.
sure. The Black Boule, yeah, or some
Yeah.
Anthony Browder. If we can get in the Browder files, we can do all that,
Oh
man.
yeah,
I'm with all
absolutely,
that, man.
absolutely.
Hey, that's what I do. We have to. That's the platforms that we need more of. To hell with all this,
Yeah, I bet
other
you
stuff,
if
And
you
I'm
go
not, I'm
right
not, I'm
down
not
and try
saying
to
no
figure out
names.
who is the black boule, we'll explain that to the next video. But
Yeah, man,
black
we
boule
not.
is
I'm done. We gonna get
definitely
into that next, but we'll do that.
yeah.
I'll let Melly do that to y'all. Melly got it all here. I'm still a student. I'm his student. I'm still learning. I'm
Right
still
on,
learning,
man.
man.
I appreciate you,
All right,
man.
big bro, man. You
Enjoy the
take it
rest of
easy.
your
Enjoy
evening,
your
man.
meal, man. Tell everybody, salute Marlena, salute the mail room, salute my girl if she's looking, salute all righteous men out there, and even the ones that ain't got it right, man. We go wait on you. God has taught us patience. Until then,
Till then,
salutation.
shout out.
Oh man.
Shout out to the Mailroom Nation. Shout out to the Mailroom Goons. See, it's important that history is medicine for a sick mind because within history is a variety of human experiences that you can teach and learn from. It's important that we have these kind of discussions and topics and we go as deep as we can because there's a lot of people that's lost in the wilderness in North America, and it's up to guys like myself and other individuals that have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because I understand, and overstand. I want to bring these topics to the table and let's cut them up, chop them up, and put them out there for the people to decide what is best for their position in life. Freeing myself from ancestral trauma, mastering soul lessons, and cultivating space for the abundant to flow. The abundant is the divine force of the black nature, the black person, the black woman, and the man. We are the mothers, the fathers. We are the makers and owners of civilization. We are the cream of the crop. And if you don't know that, then something is wrong because somebody needed to teach you that. And that's why we're here to teach you that today. Shout out to God's Property. Shout out to Marlena Williams. Shout out to E Bunny, what's happening? Michelle, what's going on? King Mike Marks, what's good, bro? James Woods, appreciate you stopping by, James, man. You guys is in there. And shout out to what was the brother? What's his name? Go Fun. Shout out to you, man. Frank Nitty, man. All your questions, go young DJ, go young DJ. No, you asked the right questions, bro. The questions you ask are not offensive. They're not not welcome. It's just that, sometimes we gotta, because here's the thing, go fun, bro. Go young DJ, right? There's always the more to know, and when somebody says something that's out of your circle of awareness, it's not that they challenge it, it's just that something was said that was not in your realm of knowledge. And it doesn't make you right, it doesn't make you wrong. It's just that you just wasn't aware of that part. You know what I'm saying? You were saying some of the right things. I wouldn't challenge you in that way, but I just want you to know it's more to it. There's always more to know, and what's behind the appearance is the reality. So with that being said, shout out to the Mailroom Nation, shout out to the Mailroom Goons. Professor Bellamille, the Hood Postman, Marlena Williams, go ahead and lock the door. We are out.